What's going on, everyone? Tommy P back with another naturally obsessed look into basketball. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's video. And as I always like to preface by saying, I am not a basketball expert, just a fan who's naturally obsessed. And in today's video, I'm going to take you guys through briefly, because I could go on for probably 30 to 45 minutes on these 10 guys I'm about to talk about. But let's be real, you guys aren't going to sit through that. So briefly give you guys my top 10 NBA prospects heading into tonight's NBA draft. Now, some really interesting storylines heading into the draft. You know, when the Orlando Magic won the NBA draft lottery, I made a video, an instant reaction video, literally moments after it happened, talking about how at the time I really did feel, and still do, that Chet Holmgren out of Gonzaga is the best player in this draft. But I did mention, and again, there's video of this, so if you feel inclined, go back and find it. But I said on the video that if I were the Orlando Magic, I would strongly consider and do my due diligence looking into Jabari Smith because of how the modern game is. Big men like Holmgren, he's a unicorn. He literally does everything to a high level, and he projects, his pro projections have him excelling even more so in every skill set that he already possesses, and could potentially be one of, if not the best big in the game at some point in his career. But if you look at it, and how, the game has changed and how the modern game is, how many teams have designed their offense, and we're in an offensive league. Defense is definitely important, but we're in an offensive league. How many of those teams have their offense designed around a center? The center is the focal point of the offense. 2, the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid, and the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic. I don't think going into this draft you can fairly put those expectations on Chet Holmgren. At number 1, you hope and definitely acknowledge there's a possibility, but just look at what the Suns did with DeAndre Ayton. I think we can all say, and it's hard for me to say as a Phoenix Suns fan, and I do, even though it's been disappointing, I do love some DeAndre Ayton still. That was not the right pick at number 1 overall. As much as I've defended it over the years, I can honestly say now, and some of you probably been there for years, it was a mistake picking DeAndre Ayton. So that's out of the way. That's something to consider. And the reason I bring that up is because if you're a returning viewer to the channel, you know I take a lot of stock and put a lot into Vegas odds in these sort of circumstances. And right now, the favorite to go number 1 overall is Jabari Smith. And many top-tier NBA reporters are saying they expect Jabari Smith to be drafted number 1 overall. And now there's even question if Chet Holmgren's going to be the number 2 pick. It's very interesting, and more is going to be revealed in the hours that lead up to the draft. But that I just wanted to put that out there, hear what you guys think. If you've been around the channel for a while, if you remember that video. Without further ado, let's just dive into the list. So I already said number 1, Chet Holmgren. I just think he does everything at a very high level, and there's still so much room for growth and improvement. I do think that as soon as he adds that NBA size, the fine-tuning of the shot, he's going to be a top-level NBA player on offense and defense for years to come. Number 2, Jabari Smith out of Auburn. Odds-on favorite to be the number 1 overall pick right now, and I see why. Because like Holmgren, there's so much right with this guy's game, and there's very little to complain about as of right now. Is there stuff to improve? Every single one of these players, absolutely. But what I love most about Jabari Smith is not only does he give you a lot defensively and offensively, but in particular on offense, shot 42% from three last year. And his NBA three-point percentage projects to be very high as well. Probably not 42%, but probably in the mid to high 30s rookie year. I would guess that's great. And I can understand why he's the odds-on favorite to be the number one overall pick. Number three, Paolo Banchero. That's a mouthful. I'm sorry about that. Center out of Duke. Again, another high-level guy that has all-star potential. Played so high level all year long. Was big in the NCAA tournament. Skill set translates to the NBA very well on most people's projections. So number three, could go number two, but I do not think he's going to fall past the Houston Rockets at number three. Number four, Jaden Ivey out of Purdue. Plays both guard positions very well. Very dynamic offensive game. I watched him several times last year. Very explosive, very exciting. Not quite to the level of Ja Morant, but kind of on the same playing field, if you know what I mean. Just very explosive, very exciting. Has the ability at times to put teams on his back and get them buckets when he needs to. And the thing that I like most about him, as far as pure point guards go, isn't a very deep draft for point guards. You're probably looking somewhere in the 12 to 15 range in my guess at this moment before we see the first true point guard drafted. But from everything I'm hearing and everything I've seen, a lot of teams feel that Jaden Ivey can be an NBA level, top tier NBA level point guard. So that's something to watch out for. Very, very highly sought after. And again, like Banchero, I don't see him falling past number three. I don't see Jaden Ivey falling past number four. At number five, I have Keegan Murray out of Iowa. Very good player. I don't know what else to say about him. He was very good on the offensive end of the board. I'm looking down at my notes right now because, like I said in my earlier video, I was watching film all day on these guys, highlight packages, so I took some notes down. And the one thing I wrote on Murray is I saw a lot of defensive lapses. And a lot of it is because of circumstances I don't want to say were necessarily out of his control, because that team, there was a lot of switching going on in that team, a lot of confusion amongst the entire team. But at the end of the day, the leader on the team, which he's expected to pick it up and communicate with the entire team. And I have a little bit of concern, just slight concern at this point in time, because obviously number five, let's just say he goes to the Pistons. You're on a young team anyways, and they're all going to be learning together. So I don't really put that as a high level of concern, but it's just something he has to work on. Communication, and I don't even want to say defensive effort, because the defensive effort was there. I just think it has to be more so on an every second on the defensive end type of thing. So Keegan Murray. Number six, Dyson Daniels out of the G League. Very consistent basketball player. Does a lot of things that I really do like. And the thing about him, he doesn't really do anything I don't like. There's just plenty about his game that I would like to see him improve in. Specifically, three-pointers. If you're a shooting guard coming into the league and you shoot threes as poor of a percentage as Daniels does, that's a tad bit concerning. But if you look at the other areas on the floor and the high percentages that he does shoot, I think there's plenty of room for improvement. I don't think the low 3-point percentage is enough for me to stay away and see if he slips somewhere to where I can trade up or back into I don't think any of that. I think if you're a team that needs scoring off the bench, and potentially, if you're picking in the top 6, top 7, chances are you're building for the future still. So if you're looking for a solid project with plenty of high upside, I think this is the guy. So Dyson Daniels, number 6. Number 7, AJ Griffin out of Duke. I really like this guy as well, and he's a very similar prospect to me as Keegan Murray out of Iowa. Just lots of lapses on defense. Offense wasn't an issue. I really like the shooting form, the stroke, good passing from what I saw. I really like this kid. I think Murray has more of an upside as of right now, which is why I have him ahead, but this is a very similar prospect in my opinion. So AJ Griffin, number 7. Number 8, probably my favorite player in the draft, Terry Eason out of LSU. I was talking about it in a video I made a few days ago. Ever since the pre-draft process began, he's been climbing up draft boards, and probably I'd say probably a month and a half ago, I read an article projecting him to be somewhere in the top 14 to 17, 18, and now he's almost a consensus top 10 pick in most of the mock drafts I saw today. He is a guy, I don't like the 3-and-D label for him, but it really is what he is. Tremendous defender, aggressive defender, shoots threes at a very high level, but he also does a lot as far as driving to the basket and getting points when you need them. He's definitely, as of right now, my favorite player in the draft, and I think he has the most potential outside of the top 3. So Terry Eason, number 8. Number 9, another one of my favorite players, simply because I didn't watch anyone more than him last year. That's Benedict Mathurin out of Arizona. Guy just improved tremendously from his freshman year to his sophomore year. Was huge all year long. The clear-cut, no doubt about it, leader of that Arizona team. It's really unfortunate that they exited the tournament early, because I feel like he was poised for an incredible run to the Final Four, maybe even to the championship, but that failure does not lie on him. He played great in the biggest moments, carried them through so many games, and I really do think that he's going to translate to the next level. I don't think he's ever going to be a number 1 in the NBA, but I think he could be a solid number 2 player, kind of like a Chris Middleton. I'm not saying he's going to be Chris Middleton, but I could see him filling that type of role to a very high level. So Benedict Mathurin, number 9. And number 10 is kind of a wild card for me, because there were a couple players that I did consider, and this guy, I'll be upfront and honest with you, this is one of the rare times where I show a little bit of bias, because I've seen this guy play in person a couple times, and because he's a local product where I live in Arizona. Absolutely love this kid. That's Shaedon Sharpe out of Kentucky. Didn't play a game last year, so the layoff, you got to wonder if that's going to be a little bit of a concern or not for some teams. But when I watch this kid play live, and I've seen his pickup games in preparation for the draft, this kid has a little bit of everything that you would want at the 2 in the NBA. If he didn't skip this year of college basketball, I think this kid would have been a top 5 pick. No doubt about it. And the reason he's still a consensus top 10 pick in most mock drafts are because almost every pro scout unanimously agrees that his skill set translates phenomenally to the NBA. So I really have high expectations. The first time I saw this kid, I was oohing and ahhing over him. The second time I saw this kid, I thought at that point, I was like, I'm watching a future NBA player. He was that incredible. So let me know what you guys think. I already know a lot of you aren't going to agree with my top 10. Maybe you do agree on the players, not the order, or maybe I included a lot of players that you're like, there's no way they're top 10. Let me know why in the comments down below, why you agree or disagree. I appreciate you guys watching. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, guys.